Due to recent events in FGO and the community being somewhat flabbergasted at the name change of the Fae Knights to Tam Lin, I have taken it upon myself to briefly introduce you to the concept that is Tam Lin. Rather, I should be saying who Tam Lin is. Tam Lin comes to us from a Scottish ballad of the same name, and the titular character is an elf or fairy depending on the reading. The ballad opens with a warning to young maidens to not go into the Cotterhoff forest, for inside lives a magical creature named Tam Lin. Despite this warning, a young woman named Janet ventures in and picks two roses that she has come to fancy, causing Tam Lin to appear and demand to know why she has come to his domain and stolen his property. Janet declares that the forest was given to her by her father, and that it was well within her right to take what was within. Tam Lin then vanishes, and Janet returns home only to find that she has become pregnant. Suspecting this is the work of Tam Lin, she decides to keep the child, but returns to Cotterhoff Forest to confront Tam Lin about the sudden pregnancy. To summon him again, she goes to the same rose bush and plucks two more roses, making Tam Lin appear and question why she has come to his domain and stolen his property yet again. She demands to know what Tam Lin is, now that she is carrying his child, and he tells Janet that he was once a mortal man who was riding alone through the Cotterhoff when he fell off his horse. Before he could hit the ground, however, the Queen of the Fairies caught him and turned him into one of her own. However, every 7 years, the fairies have to pay tribute to Hell to bring one of their own to the gates and throw them in, and Tam Lin believes that this year it will be he who is sent and damned. The 7th year comes up that night, and he pleads with Janet to save him. He tells her that that night he will be among a procession of fairies riding atop a white horse, and that she must pull him down from it. She must catch him and hold on tightly, and while the fairies will try to turn him into various dangerous things, she must not let go, as he promises not to hurt her. Finally, they will turn him into a coal that is blazing hot, which she will then need to throw into a well, and once inside the well, he will become a human again. However, she must then hide him until the fairies admit defeat, then finally he will be saved. That night, Janet goes and does all that was asked of her, pulling Tam Lin from his white horse, where he is then turned into ice, fire, an adder, a snake ready to bite her, a struggling dove, a massive swan, and then finally the coal. She then throws it in the well, making him a man again, and then hides him beneath her green cloak. Though the Fairy Queen is outraged by this turn of events, she acknowledges that she has been bested and leaves the couple alone to be married happily ever after. Depending on the version of the tale, sometimes Janet's name was actually Margaret, sometimes the pair are not complete strangers but rather lovers or friends who are separated by the power of the Fae, and so this is Janet's way of getting back her lover. Oftentimes they are both originally from a noble family to fulfill the role of a hero saving a damsel in distress, though of course its roles are reversed in this function. From here on, we are going into potential Lost Belt 6 spoiler territory to explain the connection, so if you wanted to just know what Tam Lin was, there you go, come back and watch this after you're caught up. The connection of a person being spirited away and forced to serve under the Queen of the Fairies is a trope all throughout Lost Belt 6. Characters like Barghast taking the spirit origin of Gawain, Melusine with Lancelot, and Sith with Tristan all make for decent connections. However, this aspect really takes root with Mash when she is spirited away and loses herself, becoming the Tam Lin of the story that we must rescue. As such, the connection seems fairly clear. While I have seen claims that Tam Lin was always the planned name for the names of the Fae Knights, their profiles and Japanese names label them as Fairy Knights, so I'm just going to say it's whatever. Personally, I enjoy the more interesting stories being added to the game like this, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you did, check out my other stuff in the links down below, but for now guys, keep your chin up, don't get spirited away, peace.